Alright, hello and welcome to the all-new Android development video tutorial series. I am your host, Matthias Reich, and I'm very excited to be part of this series. Now, the goal of these tutorials is to teach you how to create applications for the Android platform. Well, some of you might already be familiar with Android and some others maybe not. So in order to create an equal basis for everyone, I decided to start off with a few basic things and slowly increase the complexity of the tutorials. So to all of you Android programmers with basic understanding and knowledge of the platform, waiting to get their hands dirty, hang on there. We will get to the more advanced topics further along the way. But in this episode, we will start out simple. What I want to show you today is what software you will need to download and install in order to start developing for Android. Well, there's one important thing to mention. Since I'm a Windows user, these tutorials feature Android development on a Windows machine. Now, for the most part of this series, that makes no difference and it shouldn't even matter what operating system you develop on. But in this episode, I will show you how to set up an Android development environment for Windows. If you're running a different system, please refer to the installation guide on the official Android website. Oh, and one last thing before we get started. Since I'm not a native English speaker, bear with me if I say something in an odd way or if I pronounce something slightly wrong. I'll try to do my very best to make it easy for you to follow along. Alright, the first thing you want to do is download the actual Android SDK. To do that, go to the official Android developer website at developer.android.com and click on SDK. Here you can see the download links for the SDK for all available platforms. At the time of this recording, the latest version is Android 1.5 Release 2. I'll choose the Windows version and click on it. That will take you to another page where you should carefully read the license agreement. Now, at the very bottom of the page, you'll see a checkbox. In order to download the SDK, you have to agree to the license agreement. So simply check the checkbox and click on download. Save that file somewhere on your computer. Now, since I already downloaded the SDK, I'll cancel that download. Now, the next thing you want to do is download the free Eclipse IDE. You can find all Eclipse downloads at www.eclipse.org/downloads. For Android, you will need a Java development environment, so I'll choose the Eclipse IDE for Java developers for Windows. Next, simply click on the link at the top to download your copy of Eclipse. Again, since I already downloaded Eclipse, I'll cancel this download. Next, you need to make sure that you have the latest JDK version. So go to the java.sun.com/JavaSE/downloads and download the latest version. At the time of this recording, that is JDK 6 Update 14. Also, you need to make sure that you are actually downloading the JDK. Do not download the JRE, since that is only the Java runtime environment. Alright, so click on download and you will be taken to another page. There we have it, where you can actually choose your operating system from the drop-down list. So again, I'll choose Windows, and I also make sure that I check the checkbox. Well, so click Continue. And on that following page, simply click the link to download the setup file for the JDK. Now, again, since I already downloaded it, I'll cancel that download. So now that you've downloaded everything, it is time to start the installation. First, you should install the JDK. To do that, simply double-click on the downloaded setup file and follow the on-screen instructions. Now, depending on how fast your computer is, this may take a while, so be patient. Then, after the JDK has been successfully installed, go ahead and extract the Android SDK into a folder on your hard drive. It's best to choose an easy-to-access folder like Android SDK in the root of your hard drive or something else. Finally, unzip your Eclipse package. An optional thing that will make life a lot easier is to add the Android SDK's tools directory to your path variable. Depending on which operating system or even which version of Windows you use, you will find that in slightly different places. If you're unsure how to add a folder to your path, please consult your system manual or online help. Alright, with all the packages installed, we are ready to start Eclipse. So here we are in Eclipse. Notice that the first time you start Eclipse, it will ask you for a workspace folder. Simply choose a folder and check the checkbox to make it the default folder so Eclipse won't bother you again. Also, after starting Eclipse for the first time, make sure you click on the rightmost icon to go to the workbench. Now, the first thing you want to do here is to install the Android Development Tools plugin. To do that, simply go to Help and choose Install New Software. In the window that pops up, click on the Add button. Now, another dialog pops up where you can enter a name for the remote site. You can choose whatever you want here. I'll type Google Android. For the location, enter https://dl-ssl.google.com/android/Eclipse. Now I'll just copy it in, copy and paste. Alright, now click OK to confirm. Alright, Eclipse will now search for a repository at that location you just entered, and after a few seconds, you should see that it has found the developer tools. Now, to install them, simply click or check the checkbox and click Next. On the following screen, just click again Next. And on this screen, you have to accept the terms of the license agreements. After you've done that, click Finish, and Eclipse will start fetching and installing the plugin. Now, that may take a while depending on the speed of your internet connection and the speed of your machine or your computer. So just be patient, sit back and wait until it's done. When it's done, Eclipse will ask you to restart itself, so simply click Yes and confirm that. Alright, back in Eclipse, there's only one thing left to do to complete the setup of our Android development environment. What you want to do is you want to go to Window and choose Preferences at the very bottom here. Then in the left pane, you want to select Android. And if you do, you can see that there's a message popping up stating that you haven't set up the location of the Android SDK yet. So that's exactly what we want to do. So click OK and click on Browse and just browse to the folder where you actually extracted the Android SDK into. Select that folder, click OK, and confirm that with Apply, and hit OK. And now guess what? Well, that's all there is to do in order to set up a fully functional Android development environment. So that wasn't that hard at all, right? In the next episode, we will have a look at how to create a new Android project and how to run that project in the Android emulator. Alright, thanks for watching. I hope I didn't go too fast and you could follow along and learn something. If you have any suggestions or comments on this episode or the entire tutorial series, I would love to hear them. Until then, I'm Matthias Reich for Xtensivearts.com. Keep on learning and I'll see you next time.